Welcome to today's vlog, and today we are going to talk about the three key drivers of career success. Now, just to reiterate, this is based on my personal experiences as well as assessment of numerous profiles as well as experiences of my colleagues working in different domains across different sizes of companies. So this is pretty much summarized of what works and what does not work. Honestly, I'm not going to put out what doesn't work except a few bits and pieces here and there. But most importantly, these are the things I wish I had known 10 years ago, and along with a quick summary, I'm also going to reason why is it so. And beyond that, there are two more things, one at the beginning and one at the end, which are in addition to these three key drivers. So hang on. The first one is always the outlook or the aesthetics. How you present yourself, your attitude, how you carry yourself matters because it leaves an impression on everyone that you meet professionally. And that does work. So make sure you put out the right first impression. Although it's a cheap signal, but it's a cognitive bias because once you make a first impression, that cognitive bias does some work. So if it's a good impression, you get a head start. But if it's a bad impression, you really have to work your way up to at least start at a good starting point. So that's one thing at the beginning. But now let us move on to the problem. Why do we come across to these three drivers? The first one is the problem of having a job or a career itself. Now, if you go up to any job website or per se LinkedIn and go to any particular vacancy, you'll find at least a few dozen applications, if not hundreds or thousands, for one particular open position. So there are limited positions but numerous applicants. So think from the perspective of a recruitment manager or an HR manager. Is it realistically possible to subjectively assess all these candidates? Well, the answer is no. They rely on thumb rules or heuristics to shortlist candidates or even to assess them. Now, their fundamental challenge here is de-risking the process. So the entire process here is designed to keep the lemons out rather than betting on the next superstar. So they are looking for cues to assess whether the candidate would be able to do a particular job. And these cues bring us to these three essential drivers of career success. Now, the first one here is a no-brainer, which is a university degree. An university degree matters because of three reasons. One, it signifies that you have a self-driven attitude. You turned up for a particular course for a few years and managed to get it through. So it signifies perseverance and relentlessness. Other than that, it also certifies that you have been through a certain curriculum. So you have gone through a certain set of knowledge items and you have that domain knowledge. Other than that, you would have also worked and submitted assignments. So throughout these 2 years, 3 years, whatever tenure of your course is, you have built a certain skill set. So these are the key signals of an university degree, but those are not the drivers that we are looking for. The drivers or the levers that we are looking for are the ones that give you the jump in your career. So the first one is, does the university matter or the degree matter? As long as you have studied at Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, or an IIT, IIM, it doesn't matter whether you have studied computer science, mathematics, or geology. The university matters more. Because thinking of it from face value, you think probably it's the brand value of the university. But that's not the only thing. These institutes, the leading institutions that I'm talking about, have been there for decades, if not centuries. So they have been the epicenter of knowledge, and the amount of money that they have spent on infrastructure, probably millions over decades. And I'm not just talking about the tangible infrastructure such as the classrooms, the equipment, the gymnasiums and stuff, but also the intangible such as the books in the libraries, the researches published by people who have passed through those universities. So these have made these places epicenters of intellectual capital. So when you think of Silicon Valley, it's there in San Francisco. It's no coincidence it's close to Stanford. Stanford is the very reason for the germination of Silicon Valley. So these places have become epicenters. If you look at India, you would probably look at IIT Delhi and the number of unicorn startups that have emerged or have been founded by the students who have studied at IIT Delhi, or even if you take IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore per se. So these places have become epicenters. Next are the professors or the teaching staff at these institutes. They are probably the best in the country, if not at least the best in the region. And before they became professors or got into academia, they would have practiced in their domains and they would have been at the top or at least the very best of the practitioners in the domain. So you're learning from the best of the best. Now, another aspect of this is the curriculum. Is the breadth of the curriculum as well as the depth of the curriculum. The coverage of the curriculum is much more when it comes to the breadth and the depth, because they know whatever they throw at these smart people, they are intelligent, so they are going to break it and learn it. And when it comes to the refinement of curriculum, the curriculum has been refined over decades with batches and batches learning and giving feedback. So it's continual improvement of the curriculum. And the next thing, when we talk about epicenters, you look at the alumni network of these leading institutes. Just Google who amongst are the leading alumni or the notable alumni of Harvard, Stanford, IIT Delhi, NCERT, and Oxford. You will be pleasantly surprised. So it creates this phenomenon of having an amazing network. So this brings us to the next point. When we look at the success formula, it is the combination of grit plus the right people, the right place, and of course the right timing. We're not here to talk about timing, but these places or institutes give you the right people and the right time, certainly. All you have to be willing for is to work hard to get that grit into the formula. There's another thing that happens. These institutes take the cream, the best of the best students. So when you're among such peer, you also start to, cope up or catch up with everyone. So the experience of being in the top quartile, if not the top percentile of the talent in the region or in the country, makes you go through this experience. I call it the magic, because your mindset transforms when you go through these places. The sheer experience of interacting with the peers, trying to excel at your studies, balancing extracurricular, having other opportunities, because these places give you avenues such as competitions to practice and compete with the best. So that top percentile energy and intelligence just transforms you. And this is what the HRs or recruitment managers are looking for, because they also want the best. Now, that's the first driver. The second one are certifications. The certifications that I'm talking about are the leading or the industry standard certifications. I'm not talking about mere participation certificates in workshops or training programs, because these industry standard certifications have a certain curriculum and a process. You have to sign up, go through the curriculum, give a test, and to do this process, you need self-discipline, for which you have to be driven. So it gives this signal that you are self-driven and you're disciplined. And it is an expensive signal. It's not a cheap signal like dressing well or carrying an attitude. Of course, carrying an attitude comes from practice and it takes time, but still, it's not that kind of a signal. So an industry certification is an expensive signal. But beyond that, industry standard certifications have a curriculum that is curated with a set of knowledge items that are essential to do certain roles in the industry, such as a project management professional or the CFA from the CFA Institute or the CPA. Now, these are curated curriculum. So they know that you are aware or cognizant of the knowledge items required to do your role. Now, beyond this, there are certain certifications that come with authority, like a CPA or a chartered accountant, or even a law degree like an LLB once you're empaneled into the bar council of your country or a region. So it gives you certain authority to practice or certify paperwork. So for instance, if you want to role in mergers and acquisitions, you probably need the authority to certify the books of accounts, which only a CPA or a CA has. A CA stands for Chartered Accountant and CPA would be Certified Public Accountant, whichever is relevant to the region of your practice. So this is the second key driver, having those key industry certifications in place. And of course, there's one more thing which comes with it, which is privilege. access to the network and the knowledge. Because once you become a member of these institutes, you have access to webinars, books, articles, and lots of other latest or recent updates with things happening in the industry. And of course, you can network with other professionals like you, so peer-to-peer learning. So that's the second key driver. The third one is experience. Your prior experience matters, because what recruitment managers are looking for is your timeline to productivity. So the quicker it is, the better it is for the company, because you're more efficient, a quicker learning curve, or a steeper learning curve rather, and less time or less cost spread on unproductive time. So what are they looking for here? So the duration of your experience serves as a proxy for your knowledge and skill set in the particular role or domain. It is not just used to ascertain your seniority or pay grade in the organization, but it's also a proxy indicator of your ability to perform the role. And it also serves as a particular proxy to understand how quickly you'll be able to gauge things. The second is the similarity, which is fitment and alignment with the role. So if you have done similar roles in the past and your previous job description or your roles and responsibility overlap substantially with the position that you're applying for, that means your fitment and alignment is a tick mark, and you will quickly get the hang of things that you're supposed to do, and your learning curve would be steep, and you'll be productive as soon as possible. Now, it's not the point that organizations don't want to engage in learning and development. It's just that their way of being certain that you will be able to perform the role and you will do it quickly. And the third thing that they are looking for on your resume are marquee brands or experience from industry leaders. So if you're talking about automation, electronics, probably Siemens or ABB. If you're looking at accounting and audit, probably the Big Four, even consulting. So I don't know who the industry leaders are or the best ones are in your industry, but at least the leading or the larger companies in your domain. Because if you have learned from the best, you might be bringing something better to the table. So that's the third thing when it comes to experience. Now, the last thing that I had said, the one more thing which I'm going to say for the end, is one thing we have to remember is that it is a corporate pyramid. It is not a ladder. So the higher you go up in the hierarchy, the fewer are the seats. So not everyone is going to get promoted automatically. That doesn't happen. So what does that mean for you or us? Well, you have to create your personal brand, because you have to be seen. You have to be on the top of their mind when they're considering to fill a seat in the next level in the hierarchy. So you have to make your personal brand, market your success, and make sure you're seen and heard at your workplace, and of course in the positive manner or in the intended manner. And more than that, you have to ensure that there is a paper trail for your success. So every time you do something good or you get an appreciation from your boss, just a pat on your back is not enough. Make sure you get an email or at least something that documents your small wins or successes at your workplace, because these things count not only when they are considering an appraisal, but throughout your career progression. This is what leads to career progression rather. So these are the three key drivers and two nuggets at the start and the end for succeeding at your corporate career. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and of course hit subscribe and share this video with your colleagues if you found this helpful.